Hi there, I'm Trevor. I'm the CEO and founder of CrowdTamers, and I want to introduce you to the Growth Marketing Command Center. I'm going to take a few minutes here to go through what it's used for, why I built it, and how you might be able to make use of it yourself to improve your growth marketing, either as part of the work you do as a department or as a team scattered amongst a bunch of different areas of ownership in your company. So growth marketing and marketing in general requires you plan something, you execute on it, and then you report on what you've actually accomplished. So I've kind of built this command center into these three different views. Now I've expanded everything here so you can see it all at once. You can collapse these and open them to make this more or less busy as you feel is appropriate. Now this is, as I've mentioned, broken into these three large areas. This is a series of connected databases to help you go through your planning sequence, which takes you all the way to task planning. These are articles about how CrowdTamers as an agency and how I, as somebody who's been doing 22 years of marketing, would design ads, create ads, and kind of do all this for you. And then the reporting is another set of interlinked databases that eventually feeds back into your brainstorming and task planning again. So you've made this closed loop where what you plan and report on goes back into what you plan again. So I'll walk you through how to use it all. Hopefully you'll find it valuable. So at the start of planning, we talk about what the big objectives are, maybe for the quarter, maybe for the year, depending on how you frame things out, and what their core metrics are, what the results are, and then what projects are attached to them. This database right here connects to another one, which is the actual brainstorming view of all this work. So we have here, okay, these are tasks that are associated with, like build a lead gen pipeline or make content marketing performative, has in it release the Growth Marketing Command Center, which is this video right here. So cool. As you fill out an area, right, you'll obviously want to clear out, these are the actual somewhat sanitized tasks from CrowdTamers' own Command Center. So as you want to clear these out, put in your own ones. You finish that, you can go on to the next section, which either you can go click on brainstorming, which is the next one in the sequence, or I've made it easy for you, right? Just go to the next one, that's fine. So as you brainstorm ideas, now what you've got here is these are the ideas that are associated with given OKRs. So if you have 4 OKRs, you better make sure you have projects associated with all 4 of them. Otherwise, you're not going to tackle stuff. Now, projects are bigger than like a couple days worth of work, right? Projects are several weeks or even several months worth of work. And we're just coming up with big chunks of work, like build a customer retention program or release the Growth Marketing Command Center, which required a bunch of work to take an internal tool and make it into an external-facing project, right? We still have the core metric, we have the key result, we have the team responsible here, and this is important because if you have 4 teams in your company, and of the 7 projects, 5 of them all go to one team, some of that stuff won't get done. Right? You want to make sure you're loading up teams relatively evenly, otherwise it's going to be real hard to have people executing everything. So once you plan all your projects out, then we can start to say, all right, well, which one do we tackle first? And I use a system called peer scoring, which looks a bit like ICE scoring. I do have a little bit different use to it. And what you do here is you punch in priority importance, how easy you think something will be, and the result on a score of 1 to 5, and it will score up for you what the most important things for you to do first will be based off of your own scoring. Ideally, you want to get several team members to evaluate each of the projects you wish to undertake, and then you average out their score and punch it into each of these, right? Regardless of how you do it, this lets you order and prioritize the important stuff, and then you can take projects and figure out, oh, I know what's important, when can I actually tackle it? That takes you to scheduling. Scheduling here gives you, again, all the projects you're tackling, the teams that are responsible for, and when they're going to fit into your calendar over time. So you can make sure, for example, you don't have 4 projects that are assigned to the same team all due at the same time. That's a pretty sure way to make sure they don't get done. So by having this high-level view of what's going on and when, you can see things like, hey, the Growth Marketing Command Center does overlap a bit with the content sharing engine, But the content sharing engine is not due until the end of September. I think I have enough time to, if there's some overlap here, not the end of the world, even though they are both assigned to the marketing team. Cool. Balance all this out. Plan your order of operations so you can see when you're socketing different events into different people's time frames to deliver. And then with all that in place, we actually build tasks out. Now we know all of the projects we're working on, like release the Growth Marketing Command Center. And what you can do here, if you wish, is you can make a number of tasks right here, and they will automatically be associated with this. So I can say announcement, blog post, social graphics, assistance from some friends, set pricing. All of these are deliverables to be able to release this product, as well as, you know, you could say like finish up tour or create GMCC tour video, which is what we're doing right now, right? And I've now created the new page, and I can say this is obviously assigned to me. It's due today because I'm working on it now, and status is ongoing. Cool, right? This is now all set. And if we look in my actual task planning, there will now be tour video showed up, right? So this is the one way you can make sure you're putting items in and associating them correctly. The other way is to say, hey, I need to spell check the GMCC before launch, and launch, if I spelled it right. Now I have a task, which I open, and I can say this is still assigned to me, and this is related to release the GMCC. And this is also ongoing. Actually, I spell checked it earlier. It's done. And it is due today as well. So either way you want to do it, right? As long as you make sure when you create the project, you assign it to, or you create the task, you assign it to the project, you're able to see the viewpoint either way and make sure you're working on things that matter, right? If you're tackling a lot of tasks that don't have an associated project with them, like this one here has, it's not filled out, but it has no project associated, well, that may mean you're not focusing on all the right things, and you should be chatting either with yourself if you're in charge, or with, you know, your manager if you're not in charge of your own schedule, to try and make sure that you're working on things that tie to a project that ties to an OKR, so that everything kind of all fits together and you're delivering on important stuff. So once you've gotten through your task planning, there are a few different views you can take here. You can sort them by when things are due to make sure you don't have too many things due the same day. You can see who's responsible for what tasks, and this is by default filtered to only say what's ongoing, or maybe we want to add in review, plus 3, 4, or yes, so this is what's actually being worked on right now. Cool. Okay. Now we know that right now Rifik's not doing much. Maybe we should see what he's up to today, right? That gives us a chance to check on team members and make sure they're working on important things. And then finally, is there something that is in review somebody needs to approve? Yes. Is there anything that has no status and we should maybe either put in review or delete entirely? Cool, right? This gives you a number of different ways to view the information on what's happening. When all that's done, I've included a number of articles and resources that CrowdTamers has created to help you create ads, help you think of writing good copy, making variants, and actual step-by-step guides to buying ads as well. And if you need it for generating trackable links in Google Analytics, there's a generator where as you fill out information here, then you would copy the link here and use it in whichever tool you're actually putting your links into. So whether it's a Google ad or a Facebook ad or a Twitter post, this is a way to add a lot of tracking information for your Google Analytics dashboards. All right. Then when all that's done, We go look at reporting. Now, reporting comes in 3 different levels, and I think it's important to structure your reporting in this way. The first kind of highest resolution reporting is weekly reporting on a given project, right? Here we go. This is the creative that ran in a given ad for Facebook and for Twitter, click-through rate, cost per performance, all the information we need to extract here is all put in here. It's just copied and pasted directly from a downloaded CSV file from Facebook, right? And likewise, landing page here, this is copy-pasted from Google Analytics. So either case, all right, the data here that you need is accessible on a by individual piece of creative level. And when you're running experiments, the way that CrowdTamers recommends you run experiments, you do want to have this information. And even if you're not, if you're just running several different pieces of creative, you want to make sure you're recording this at a very high fidelity layer in case you ever want to go back and ask questions later. But you also have the high-level overview. These are the averages, right? Now these, you do have to paste in again by hand, but again, you can just grab this out of the table and copy-paste. This gives you the averages for the entire campaign as opposed to individual breakdowns, right? And these averages are going to help you see for a given client or a project, right? Whatever you want to put here. You fill out the information, and then that gives you your overviews to see how a given trend may be. And this lets you quickly create, you can duplicate and say, I'm going to make a new copy of this report, right? Quickly create reporting to help you understand what's happening on on a weekly basis for your ad. That's the bottom level, right? From there, you may want to be able to look at and decide over time, how is a given project doing, right? What's the click-through rate? What's the number of clicks? What are my conversion rate looking like? What are my costs looking like? See if I can establish trends for a given project. It might be marketing a particular product in your company. If you're running an agency like I do, it might be looking at the ad performance from different ad campaigns. These are all sample data, right? This isn't real performance data, but I think you can get the idea. And from here, we also start to see things like next tasks. When we're working in one of our tasks here, we can say, hey, you know what? I already know from my ER1, my first round of experiments, I want to do ER2. I want to make a task for it, which will automatically make it in the task database where I can do CXER2 add asset creation right here, right? And then that then gives me, and I can say, hey, this is going to be assigned to my designer, and related project, in this case, you might argue it's customer retention, although as an agency, right, I just do work to do, there we go, right? This is now, I've made a task from the report where I know, oh, I have to do something. I can also, if I have a big project I want to tackle, where I go, you know what, I think I've realized something. I need to do something larger than just a couple hours worth of work. It's going to be a big multi-week project. Let me plan a future project for this. And I can create the same way here, right? Something new there. So, cool. This then gives you your last stage as well, where as I'm looking at a project reporting, I'm able to say, in here, I'm also recording observations, and I'm recording lessons, right? So I can either on the weekly reporting stage, if that's where I find it most convenient, or some observations you may want to record over time as you look at trend lines, right? You can say, CTR was here, this performed poorly, some lessons we've learned, right? So observations would be medium-term conclusions where you say, hey, this did better, This is more interesting. This is sustainable, like some short-term observation. And then here we go, lessons, things we've learned that affect our future decision-making. That's relevant because when we go look at a project level, right, we're going to be examining, among other things, right, what lessons did we learn in this project? So we can say, I'll be able to see over time my lessons noted and my observations noted. So I can say, okay, this is a trend I've been seeing several times, right? This particular type of audience has done poorly over several different experiments. Now I know a lesson is this is not the right audience for us to worry about, which takes us to our final level of reporting, which is our lessons database. And this is just for every single experiment, what have we learned? Over time, this will build out to be a very in-depth series of lessons learned, which means when you are coming back to a project after a while, or when you're onboarding a new team member, they can go right to the high-level education you created from all the experiments you've run. This is also great for sharing with senior execs and helping C-suite understand this is what's important with the ad spend and time and money we put into all the efforts we've done. So that's the Growth Marketing Command Center in a nutshell, right? This gives you how to plan, how to actually run things, how to report on them, and then as we're working on reporting, we'll have tasks that go into task planning and projects that go back into brainstorming and peer scoring and scheduling. So you're constantly building this feedback loop where you will be iterating, improving, and making a better and better growth practice in your company. I hope this explained everything well enough. If you have any questions, of course, hit me up at Trevor Longino on Twitter. Thanks very much for checking us out.